The Chicago Bulls take their home court today against the San Antonio Spurs, bringing in Victor Wembanyama to the United Center. This is going to be a game where the Bulls are going to have to be locked in on their P's and Q's on both sides of the ball. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, hosted by Haize, your number one spot for all things Chicago Bulls.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. Apparently, we got a guest I didn't expect. C-Dub's in the building. What's going on, Dub?
What's up, big dog? How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling pretty good, Brody, man. We just had Bobby on the Io DeSumo breaking news episode, so the Kanye boys tagging in and out today. How you feeling coming to this game, brother?
I'm actually feeling pretty good. We did get some bad news with Io DeSumo another week, but I think the Bulls can feed off of some of that energy. That was some energy that I haven't seen from the Chicago Bulls in that last game. You probably couldn't credit that to Derrick Rose's ceremony for the night, but just be pleased that the Bulls were able to summon up that energy and use it for good. In the instance, they used it to win a game, and that was something I was very, very impressed with. Now, can they carry that momentum on to a game against a very improved San Antonio Spurs team?
Yeah, and the Spurs are playing really good this season. A lot of people have said that the Spurs are kind of ahead of schedule of where they expected them to be based off where they finished last year. Of course, you added veterans like Harrison Barnes and Chris Paul to the team. That's kind of what happens, what you can expect, as well as other young players on top of Wemby also growing. And the funny thing about this, I don't know if you got to see the games over the weekend where they had home and home with the Denver Nuggets. So Wemby had two games going up against Jokic. And while Jokic dropped over 40 in both those games, that first game, I'm ready to say it, C-Dub, Wemby may be the best defender of Jokic in the league, bro, already.
All right, man. Wemby may be the best defender in the league. You might be able to say that. The guy has arms that goes as long as you can think, and he just is great athletic, and he can stay in front of guards on the perimeter. He can deter any shot around the rim. The guy is just the total package when it comes to the defensive end of the floor. I agree with you, Trip, 100%.
So listen, and last year, I don't know if you remember or not, like Vooch gave Wemby some work in the one game that they played against each other last year. I don't know if that's going to happen this year. Wemby's added, he's gotten stronger. He's starting to learn. And the funny thing is, Wemby isn't even nearly done developing yet. Like Wemby has got future MVPs and defensive player of the years all over him. But I know you're not the biggest Vooch fan, even though Vooch is having a really good season this year. How do you feel that Vooch is going to fare against Wemby today?
I will give Vooch the benefit of the doubt, and he's been very, very much more competitive than previous seasons. This is going to be probably his toughest opponent so far this season. And Wemby, we missed out on him in a game early in the season. Mm-hmm. If Vooch has the skills to be competitive against any center, regardless of talent level in this league, it's just the will and the want to in any given night. Now, if Vooch wants to go out there and he wants to score 20 points and get a double-double, or he wants to get 30 and 10, he'll go out there and do it. It just depends on Nick Vooch, but I wouldn't put my money on it.
No. Shay here already starting early with the misspellings. Nikola Vucevic better watch out. Wemby has gotten stronger since last year. Not only that, mother effer don't even need to jump to get no blocks. First of all, who's Wemby? That sounds like we got Wemby at home. Who's Wemby?
That's a Teletubby or something. I don't know what the hell that is. That sounds like a Teletubby.
Shay in here talking to his imaginary friends is crazy. That's crazy. But outside of the Vooch and Wemby matchup, of course, I talked a little bit about this with Bobby when we were on the Io DeSumo episode. Josh Giddey and Kobe White are slowly starting to find their chemistry together. When you look at over the 5 games for both these guys, I think I still have the numbers up. I know Kobe's averaging like 26 points over the last 5 games. He's shooting the ball almost 50% from the field. Over the last 5 games over that same stretch, Josh Giddey's averaging almost 13 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists over that point as well. And it's starting to be more, like, seems like an intentional balance as far as, all right, this is when Kobe's going to drive and create. This is when Giddey's going to create out on the perimeter. And I think finding and striking that balance, these guys are starting to find their place with each other. How do you feel about that, Doug?
I think you're absolutely right. I look at this situation with both of these guys. I think both of them came in and said, I'm going to play this different way. I've been working on these skills all off season. I'm going to be a different player. You come into the season and things ain't even going the way you planned they were going to go. So you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say to yourself, how am I going to be effective on the basketball court? Now, Kobe White is going to be effective by taking care of the basketball, taking better shots. And his main option is to attack the basket. You are a terror on the basketball court when you're attacking the basket. Now, when you go to Josh Giddey, I think that he was taking too many threes, and I didn't see that superpower everybody was talking about playmaking, but I've been seeing it more often, like in the last 5 games. And he's been going downhill. He's a big boy, a big Australian boy at 6'8", like 220 or something like that. So I think both of these guys have looked themselves in the mirror and chosen a way to be most effective for the team, and it's been working as of lately. It's been working.
Yeah. Over the last 5 games, Kobe White, to give those numbers exactly, 23.6 points per game, 50.6% field goal shooting percentage, 43.9% from three-point range. Those same games from Josh Giddey, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. He's shooting the ball also 44% from the field, but 52% on 2-point shot attempts and 32% on threes. Listen, it's not perfect, but it's solid.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and these guys these are 2 young guys, even Kobe White. They're very young. So they're still developing. I think we got a lot of guys with this type of a road or who's going on the same path as these guys, but they got a lot of experience as well. So I think we're ahead of the curve when it comes to that situation. Like, they're young and they're still developing, but they got a lot of experience, bro. They got a lot of experience.
That's a fact. Yeah. Especially, Josh Giddey's only 22, but he's in his 4th year in the league. Kobe White's 24. He's is this year 5 now with Kobe, or year 6 with Kobe?
I think it's 6.
Year 6 with Kobe. 6. So yeah, they're young, but they got a lot of mileage on them. They got a lot of experience in the NBA. And that's kind of what you want, right? Like, young players who you kind of know what they can bring in the NBA, but still have tons of room to still grow and develop, which both these guys do. And especially if you can get them on the same page where they can grow and develop together. That's kind of that's how you set a base and look at some things. Other players as well, though. We know Vooch and Zach been having great seasons so far. How have you been feeling about Pat? I feel like there was about a 3-game stretch of Patrick Williams where he was really aggressive, averaging double digits, but over the last 2 games, he's kind of come back down to earth. Defensively, he's still been solid. How you feeling overall about the season for Patrick Williams so far?
You know what? It's definitely been kind of up and down for Patrick Williams, but we could talk about lately. Patrick Williams has been he's been really impressing me lately. Even if the shot ain't going, he's been focused and locked in on defense, and he's been a little bit more aggressive. Just quietly, Patrick Williams might be becoming a little more aggressive if you pay attention to him. He's falling into that top of the key little fadeaway jumper. You seeing that more often. He's attacking off the closeouts more often. I just think he doesn't have any choice but to be more aggressive with all the talent that around him, because if he continues to be the passive guy that he's been in these previous years, or be inconsistent the way he's been for the last previous years, the Bulls have more players that can fit in that slot, like, on this team. And I think he realized that in an instance like that, like, I got to compete on my team for these minutes as well.
He better realize it, because I tell you what, like, I said it coming into the season, this is a season where Patrick Williams can't really afford to keep being passive P. And it seemed like he understood that to a degree, because, like, you got guys now behind you in Julian and Modest Bucilis who are hungry. These guys are young. They're hungry. They're younger than you. They have more upside than you as of right now, only because you've been in the league so long. They're still starting their NBA careers. And Patrick Williams also got to look at the fact that, listen, if the Bulls do keep their draft pick, there's a lot of forwards in this league. You add another forward, somebody going to see themselves on the outside looking in.
Yeah, man, and then you got to give him kudos for that if he has realized that. And I'm gonna go by his recent play and say that he has realized that it's gonna come a point in time in your career where you're gonna have to make a business decision with every NBA player,
Yeah.
especially if you ain't a lottery player. And you it's gonna that decision is I'm gonna continue to try to be the best player in the world. I'm talking about people that are not lottery players, or I'm gonna be trying to make me a niche in this league. I'm gonna be that rebounder. I'm gonna be that 3-and-D player. I'm gonna be that spot up shooter. I'm gonna be, it's different type of jobs and roles in the NBA can be, and it's gonna come a time and point where you're gonna have that moment where you're gonna pick a role. Like I'm gonna keep trying to be Kawhi Leonard, or I'm gonna just get my spot and try to be Robert Ory and be successful in this league and get 7 champions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's coming. Patrick
Yeah, I mean,
Williams.
and Patrick Williams can be a very successful like NBA player in the sense that, like, again, temper that the I've personally removed him being the 4th overall pick from my mind. I'm just looking at him and the player that he is.
Yeah.
And in being a solid defensive player that can shoot the ball 40% from 3, there's always going to be a spot for you. I went through, there's a lot of people that are like, no, Haize, he wouldn't start on most teams. I went through like the 5 of the best teams in the league. I'm like, Patrick Williams numbers are the same as this starter. It's the same as this starter. It's the same as this starter. It's just that we, of course, because he was drafted here 4th overall and we had expectations of what he can turn into. Listen, he's not going to turn into that player. More than likely than not, that's not who we thought he was going to be when the Bulls drafted him. That's not who he's going to be. But he can still carve out a role for himself on this team. And I actually still want to see more of him and Modest out there together. And, that's up to Billy Donovan to play and to utilize that. But listen, again, I'm out on Patrick Williams being like this player that you build around. He's not going to be that, but he is a player that can have a role on your team, that can be effective and impactful on your team. And for that, it is what it is. That's just the perspective that I look at people at this point.
Yeah, man, this is grown up business. Like we can't continue to hold on to the hope of this guy's going to turn the corner, be something that he probably is never going to be ever on a basketball court. But he can help us, just like Drip was saying. And I hate to say this, I want to give Billy Donovan some credit, bro, because I think he gave him every ample opportunity. I think he overdid it with giving him opportunity to fucking prove that he's more than just a 3-and-D player, because that's what he is at this point. He's a 3-and-D player.
He's a 3-and-D player. He's a 3-and-D player. By definition, that is what he is, right?
That's what he is, bro.
And it is what it is, man. We'll see.
Hey, that's nothing to sneeze at, though, Pat. It is so many jobs in the NBA. You belong in the NBA. You just not an all-star superstar. You're never going to be that.
Exactly. And there's, like I said, there's players. Every championship team has a player that is either a defender or a 3-point shooter. Or God, if you can get both of them on there, like Patrick Williams can help some teams.
Yeah,
we got to see if it's going to be, and that doesn't necessarily mean the fit's going to eventually be here with the Bulls. He still can be passed up. That's up to him to show and play enough to where he earns that role. Because I tell you what, if the Bulls do draft somebody like Asa Newell's the guy I keep pushing for the Bulls to draft, if they are in the bottom of that top 10, that future's not looking good for you, at least as a starter. So it is what it is. There.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. Come on, man.
Other young players, Dalen, Julian Phillips. How have you been feeling about their season, C-Dub?
Hey, I call these two guys my Doberman pinchers, bro. I just love these two guys. This the reason where Patrick Williams turned around and turned behind his back and see these guys coming in, and it motivates him. Dalen Terry got to be the most impressive guy the last three seasons for me in the locker room for the Chicago Bulls. That first year as a cheerleader, that second year with the frustration and in and out of the G League, then finally getting on the roster, showing what he can do. And to this year, he just looks like he belongs in the NBA now. He's shooting a 3 with confidence. He taking the ball, taking isolations, getting to the basket, playing defense, and just Julian Phillips. I said when he wasn't afraid, like the first week I seen him play basketball with the Bulls. I'm like, this kid ain't afraid of nothing. And he continues to do that and continues to get better with experience on the basketball court. That's all this kid really needs is experience on the basketball court. He's athletic. I don't need to tell you what he is. He's athletic. He can shoot it, spot ups. He's going to guard very tremendously, and he's a pass too, because he's been getting on NBA players' nerves. They've been getting mad at him. So I love these two guys. They are definitely part of the Chicago Bulls' future, bro. I love them.
I look at Julian Phillips personally as like, and again, this could change, but right now he's a slightly bigger Derrick Jones Jr. And we just saw what Derrick Jones Jr. did helping the team go to the NBA Finals, right? Like that is what I think the ceiling is for Julian Phillips. You just got to get more reps in there. And Dalen Terry is still very raw, but one thing that I'm seeing consistently with Dalen is that he's starting to understand how to use his combination of size and speed to get to the rim some. And I really like that aspect for him. And he's not afraid to shoot the ball anymore this year, which is really good as well. So still a lot of development left to be done for these guys before we can really say what they're going to be in the NBA. But I will say they especially Dalen, he went from looking like a guy who was a deer in the headlights every time he got on the basketball court to now you can see he understands what he needs to do on the court.
I just love to see not the final results, but you love to see positive results with players. Like you see this guy progressing in the game, bro. Year to year, you can see it. And this year, it's been game to game where you see some different from Dalen Terry. It's been a treat to watch. That's why I say it's one of my favorite guys in the locker room for the last three seasons, Dalen Terry, bro.
Absolutely. And I also got to always throw it out. Dalen Terry, mama, do follow me on Instagram and Twitter. So I always got to throw that out.
Wait, what I'm laughing for. Go ahead.
Yeah, don't laugh. Don't laugh at nothing. Shout out to Fancy. But anyway, man, the Bulls bench has been wildly inconsistent this year so far, C-Dub. I think like the time that we saw it the most consistent was when it was Jalen and Ayo coming off the bench, and then in games where that was back when Lonzo was kind of fluctuating in and out of games. Do you think that this bench still has something left to be shown? Because Ayo has, even before he went down, he was in the starting lineup for much of that time. Do you think that we've seen kind of the ceiling of the Bulls bench, or do you think there's still another level that this bench could get to over the course of this season?
I'm gonna go with that with your second choice there. It's still a lot of time left for this bench. This is not just a young team. It's young all the way around. It's young in the starting line. Well, not that young in the starting lineup. You got a couple young pieces there with Patrick Williams and Kobe White, but you got a young bench. To tell you the truth, with Jalen Smith, still a young guy. You got Montes Buzelis, who's one of your young, and then look at the two Doberman pinchers and Julian Phillips and Dalen Terry. The old guys don't really play, so it's not really about them. I'm talking about the guys that really see the court. So it's a young team. They're going to be inconsistent. They trying to get their roles, define their roles, perfect their roles on that bench. So. And then who knows if it's going to be any moves made that they could shake up the bench a little bit, or even shake up the starting lineup, to tell you the truth.
I'm starting to get to the point where I ain't expecting no moves, bro.
I keep telling people, I've been telling people, Drip, just stop.
I don't think there's any moves coming at all, bro. Like I it is what it is, bro. Like it is what it is at this point. Now, I will say this though. I don't think it's like previous year. Previous years, I don't think AK and Eversley were even really trying to make deals. I do think that they were taking phone calls. I do think they were trying to see what they can get. I just think teams are lowballing them on their players, and they've gotten to the point where they're like, we can't take lowball offers on these guys that are playing really good. That's what I personally think. What about you?
Oh yeah, I'm 100% with you right now. Like people definitely other teams are definitely trying to get the best deal for them and probably lowballing the shit out of the Bulls. And I gotta respect the Bulls for trying to get the most for their assets that they can get. And the players have played to that point. To this season, like Zach is having a career year. I say it's his best year of his career, and
efficiency wise, absolutely, he's killing it. Efficiency,
and Nick Vooch, he's having not his best in his career, but he's having a hell of a comeback year. He fell off a little bit the last couple of weeks, but all in all, it's been a very good comeback year. You got to get what they worth, dude. We just ain't finna give these guys away. That's crazy. And Lonzo, you just can't give away Lonzo neither. Because he's not shooting well, but you just can't give him away, bro. I seen you.
I mean, Alonzo isn't shooting worth shit. But he is still, for Alonzo to still have a positive point differential, positive plus minus when he's on the court, and he's shooting like absolute cheeks. That just shows you that Lonzo is still a damn good basketball player.
Yeah, bro.
So there now, Billy Donovan was asked before the game. C-Dub, I want to get your thoughts on this. When he was asked about the fact that the Bulls are hovering around 500, he says this. No one is saying to me, hey, wait a second, with this draft pick. It's been about the integrity of competition. And he says that those conversations have been management, ownership, everybody's on the same page. It does not seem like the organization is really focused on keeping that draft pick. Do you think that's going to end up being the smart decision, or do we think we're going to end up looking back at that and saying, man, we really should have went for that draft pick if we don't end up keeping it?
I'm a little biased at this. I still think that's a brand of tanking. Trying to go for that draft pick, and I don't like that. I like it to be competitive in every game, and I just think the Chicago Bulls and all that encompasses, that's the coach, the front office, the owner, they looking at this Eastern Conference, and this is a very down year, more down than it often is, and I think the Bulls as a whole think that they can make at least the 6th seed. And I'm just telling you the truth. They think they can make it. If there's not a move made, that is the case. They think they can get in the playoffs.
In the playoffs?
They think they can do it. Look at the East. Look at it.
It's not, but you got to look at where they also rank in the East. Like
the
Bulls right now, bro, they are a net negative in every single offensive rating, defensive rating, half court offense. They're net negative in everything, bro. That's why I don't necessarily have that faith. Now, I want to be clear here. Advanced analytics are advanced analytics. They're not the end all be all of everything. But I think when you look at this team, I'm bringing it up right real quick. So the Bulls are only one of 8 teams in the league. I just want to go over this. As far as net rating, they're negative 2.7. As far as offensive rating overall in the season, negative 1. As far as defensive rating overall in the season, negative 2.7. The only thing that they're positive in, brother, and this is going to really surprise you, only thing that they're positive is in strength of schedule. So what does that tell you? They've had one of the easiest strength of schedules, but yet they're at the bottom of the league of every statistic.
I have nothing to say about the defensive side of that because they just don't play defense. But I think I have something to counteract those analytical numbers when it comes to the negativity on offense. It's the pace of play. I think that pace of play totally annihilates those negative analytical numbers because they have the fastest pace in the NBA. They're going to spam up threes. No matter if they shoot a good percentage or not, they're going to spam up 50 to 60 threes a game, and that can just destroy the analytics if they hit 23s a game like they did last game. So that what distorts it a little bit and has them at the 10th seed, that their pace is so fast.
Though, the analytics take into consideration the pace, though.
I tried. I tried, bro.
Listen, and you got to balance analytics with the eye test and other things, because analytics aren't the end all be all. I go a lot to the analytics because I think it adds a little bit of color, but I never want to present it as analytics are like analytics just tell you everything. But it does paint a concerning picture that your team has a positive strength of schedule, meaning that the strength of schedule was played into their favor, but they're just negative in every aspect of the game of basketball. It's just a little bit concerning. It's got to be a little bit.
It's a little concerning. It's a little concerning. But at the same time, you know that they lead in a lot of offensive categories.
They do. They
lead in a lot of They lead at 3-point up there at the top. Yeah, they up there at the top. They still awful at the half court. It's a young team. You should know that. Like I said, I'm not touching defensively because this is the worst defensive team I've seen in this century, in the 2000s. It's the worst. I'm sorry.
I just want to go over this again. So analytically, the Bulls are more similar to the Pelicans, the Jazz, the Nets, and the Raptors than they are any other team near a winning record, even though they are only 16-19 on the season. But those other teams are 7-29, 9-25, 13-12, and 8-27.
Yeah, that it's bad. It's bad, bro. So I don't know what to say. It's just crazy, bro. That's why you got to look at both things. You got to look at the analytical part, and you definitely got to use the eye test if you're not looking at the games.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of people like to talk about basketball but don't watch basketball games, I could always tell. Like, listen, there's this old dude at the barbershop that he thinks he's the God's gift to basketball analytics. Not analytics, conversation. And my barber, keep in mind, my barber's my pastor, so my barber's holy, right? And one time, the dude's name is Mr. Edward. He literally looked at Edward and he was like, "Hey, Did you watch that game last night? And I think when he was talking to the pastor, he was like, "No, he's like, I watch about 5 or 10 games a year."
What?
Nigga, what?
How could you be a
What are you
basketball
talking
fan?
about, bro? He be in there every week at the barbershop saying, like, yeah, you know, LeBron's an MVP, you know, you gotta do this, and he gotta dish that. And it's like, you say you watch 10, not just of one team, total games a year. Please shut up talking.
Yeah, please, bro. Like, come on. This is a different generation. And then you saying that's an older guy too. So I don't know, bro, what to say about that. How could you be a fan of basketball and not watch games, bro, and just watch like a
10
highlight
games
reel?
a year? I watch more than 10 games in a week.
Bro, come on now. Come on now.
Like, what are we talking about here, bro?
People crazy, man.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, bro. That's it's wild out here, bro. It's a different breed, man. I think also like because doing what we do now, it's like it's a whole different level of basketball conversation, and so
Yeah.
like you really can suss out when people just be bullshitting,
Oh,
and it
that's
just be like,
oh shit. That's easy to see. That's easy to
like,
see. Yeah, bro.
what?
Come on, man.
Anyway, man, last thoughts on there before we get up out of here. Anything left, brother, before we get out?
Yeah, this a new and improved Wemby. I want to see Wemby go against my young team, bro, and it's gonna be a sight because I think this kid is playing like a top 10 player right now. He is on a mission. I want to see how my team go up against this eighth wonder of the world. This is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, bro, it's gonna be crazy to see, and I think that this season, I think has really, I hope really makes the Spurs realize how important it is. I don't care if it's through trade because we've heard something like they could pursue De'Aaron Fox, or whether it's in the draft. You gotta get Wemby a point guard for him, like that. That's I don't care about any other position. You got to get Wemby a point guard that he can grow and develop with. Because I tell you what, if you get your point guard for the future, and him and Wemby get to have like a Jamal Murray, Jokic type career where they're together their whole career. It's gonna be scary hours, bro.
I don't even think they need a Jamal Murray, though. I just think they need like somebody competent. They need like a Kurt Heinrich.
Well, yeah. I didn't mean like a Jamal. I just mean as far as how Jamal Murray and Jokic have been their whole careers together. I just mean like you want somebody that they can grow with. But a Kirk Heinrich type point guard would be amazing for Wemby.
Bro, come on, man. This kid is the future, bro. It's interesting how the NBA gonna try to push him out. It's gonna be tough because he ain't American. But that's another subject for another day. But he is the face. It's gonna be tough.
Let's have it real quick. We can get more in depth on NBA Central, but let's have it real quick. If you're looking at next faces of the league, right? I think most people agree that it's Anthony Edwards, Wemby's in that conversation. Some people try to put Tatum in that conversation, but I don't think Tatum carries himself as somebody who can be the face of the league. Damn great player, but I don't think he does this stuff off the court where you can be the face of the league. Is there anybody else you're putting up there? I know they say Luka, but again, foreign players are kind of difficult to make the face of the league. Who do you think as of right now, who is the next face of the NBA?
Okay, I like all of those guys that you said. I will tell you this. You said Jason Tatum, no, but the other guy over there, he got
Brown? You think
Jaylen
Brown could be the face
he
of the
got
league?
a little something.
Okay.
He got a little something. He interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting guy. And you could push that. That's what sells leagues and stuff like that. But don't forget about Ja. I know everybody gonna be like, oh, he ruined it. He don't have a chance. But the kid is talented. I think he having a top 5 MVP type year, the way he carrying the Memphis Grizzlies. Look what I think they're third in the West right now. But yeah, it's basically those guys for the future of this NBA. When you look at my guy from Minnesota, Edwards, he got the look. He got all the Michael Jordan mannerisms. He can play. He got game. I don't know what's missing though. It's something's missing, bro. I wish they wouldn't have ruined this team before he got a chance to really, really compete. Then you look at a guy like Wemby. The only thing holding him back is he's not American. And that sounds crazy, but he's not American, bro. When does the NBA ever push non-Americans as the lead? They haven't done it. They haven't done it ever. So
that's a great point. That's a great point.
I don't even think they even know how to I mean, I ain't gonna disrespect them. They got all the brightest minds, but it'd be a tough sell to try to sell him to the United States of America. It'd be tough, especially not
I love this pick here. SGA.
SGA
If SGA wins the MVP this year, I think that he has the chance to be the face of the league.
from Oklahoma City.
I think that that could be a little difficult to market, but as long as the OKC Thunder are winning, like they're on pace to win 70 games this year, I think you can find a way to make it happen.
He's in a running for sure. He's in a running for sure, but I just hate the OKC thing. I like the San Antonio thing more, even though it's a low market though, but the history that they have, all the championships that they have, you can just slide right into that. But when you think about OKC, I mean, Kevin Durant, but they ain't win no championships or nothing. I don't know if you could push OKC.
Immortal B says Paolo Banchero has a lot of potential to be the face of the league.
Yeah, I like that. He's another bright young talent. He got injury problems now. He's been out for a while now. So let's see how he comes back from this injury. I think he got some hurdles to cross before we can even think about coming into that conversation, though. He got some hurdles.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely. I mean they all have hurdles, and I think the thing that the NBA has to do, like for example, I don't know if you got to watch that Boston Celtics OKC Thunder game that happened yesterday, but the NBA put that game on at noon on an NFL Sunday day on NBA TV. Like you got to start building new. And I don't know if the NBA has really realized this. Like I get it, LeBron is still amazing what he's been able to do at 40 years old. But he's about to be gone at some point. He got more time behind him than in front of him. And I just don't think the NBA has done a really good job at marketing the next crop of stars. Like when you really look at it, it went from Magic to Michael to Kobe to LeBron. And of course you had other names in there that were remarkable, AI and other players across that. But the NBA was always really good at marketing these players. Now they're not really good at it at all, bro. And I'm just a little bit worried about it.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think they overdid it because it was too easy when you got a guy like LeBron James and Steph Curry, and they been marketing these guys as the head of the league for so long? Does it then you're behind the 8 ball? Because I think they're a little behind right now. They should have been pumping out the new faces of the league. So does that then, because they waited too long with these guys? And I don't even blame them. Why would you blame them for holding out? Steph Curry's still amazing. LeBron's still blowing out double-doubles and triple-doubles. But you still can look at it like, bro, y'all stay with these guys for too long. Do you think they stand with these guys for too long?
I do. Because even with like Magic and Jordan, like you still had Hakeem. You still have Clyde Drexler. You still have these other people that even then where the markets weren't as big, you still got to see these guys, right? Like, and there was a time period where like if you didn't live in the region, you weren't even watching those teams unless they played your team, but we still knew like these guys. And like, I don't know. I just think that the NBA, they double down to your point so much on the Steph and the LeBrons and these guys that I think they're so invested in that they forgot that you also got to think about your future.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I don't even blame them though. Like they wrote it, but you still got to be responsible, bro. You probably could have did 2 things at once, probably maybe 2 things at once.
Yeah.
Well, you got to push Wemby though. I mean, come on, you got to try figure out some way, make them sell French fries or something. I don't know what you could do, bro. You got to do something. I'm not trying, bro. How you can pump? Can you come up with a good promotional strategy for Wemby? What's the promotional strategy?
Yeah, the promotional strategy for Wemby is what the fuck can't he do? Like literally,
I like it. Yes, you're right. That is
what can he do?
Yep, it is. It is literally that easy. I gotta. Yeah, I'm gonna bow down to that. He can do everything. That's easy to pump. But why haven't they done it? Why haven't they done it, bro?
Bro, because somebody said it. David Stern. This would never have happened under David Stern's watch.
Oh man, David Stern, a lot of people don't like him. I love David Stern because he immediately challenged the issue. He didn't let it drag on. Oh, y'all want to keep playing wearing these long ass chains and wearing these baggy ass clothes? We trying to sell tickets. Don't y'all want extra money on y'all contract? Suits. I want y'all suits. Put them suits on.
I still remember when that was a big controversy. People didn't like that he changed the dress code policy, but F it. But yeah, Adam Silver is just Adam. You know what it is? David Stern was a leader. Adam Silver is somebody who's in a leadership position, and those are very different things.
Yep, absolutely. He want to be the friend. He want to be the players' friends. You could be friendly, but you have to still be a businessman first. I think he want to be friends with the players too much. So, and it is what it is. We'll see. Yeah. The NBA is in a good point. I think LeBron and Steph, they're going to leave the NBA in a great place, but their time to stay on that plane is going to be limited, though. They're going to have to figure out what they want to do, bro. They're going to have to figure it out fast.
All right, Dub, man. Let me to go get my food. You already know the game day tradition around these parts, man. Y'all make sure y'all go and support C-Dub over at the Shy Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys. Best live caller in the business. Y'all make sure y'all go and support him over there. You can follow the show at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. bullscentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you guys want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, 773-270-2799. The number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, y'all. Peace.